The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on Tom's Radio Toronto are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of Tom's Radio Toronto or its staff. These broadcasts are presented and made public as entertainment and general information only, in the hope that they will be entertaining and informative to listeners. They are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or mitigate in any way any disease or condition or to promote any specific lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice, nor is the information presented necessarily accurate or verifiable.
Good afternoon, Wisdom Show fans, and there's a growing number of you out there, and we are catering to your needs with an extra special guest today. Welcome to our secret underground wisdom cave that's evidenced by all the scrolls in the background. We air every Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., but you can certainly find us on YouTube. We are brought to you by Tom's Radio, the TOMZ, a trademark of multiculturalism Z, and the address is 3768 Bathurst Street, room 308, North York, Toronto, Ontario. And we always want you to subscribe and like and share this show with your friends. If you want to participate in our discussion, please call 416-900-5864. And as I said, we have a special show for you, but I just want to give you an introduction to the show if you're a first-time viewer. And I want you to have fun, but I want you to take the show seriously too. The Wisdom Show is dedicated to understanding, acquiring, and mastering wisdom, to explore how to enrich ourselves and better society. Initially, we survey the world's most famous and ancient book of wisdom, the biblical book of Proverbs. And I chose the book of Proverbs because people generally have a disdain for the Bible, and I want to show that they're wrong, and biblical literacy shouldn't be lost to society. What is wisdom, you might ask? Wisdom is the muscle, as if it were, that we build to enable greater character, success, and happiness in our lives and those around us. And I get a little heavy here. There's a well-known social construct in America called the poverty to prison pipeline. I have a slightly different take on it, but I recognize there's much literature on the topic, so I invite our viewers to comment. My version works like this. If we lack wisdom, or the people around us lack wisdom and make mistakes and bad decisions in our life's choices, often then psychological counseling is required just to get to stage one of being a responsible, reasonable, happy person. If we lack a good psychological foundation, then medication might be required. Please know the next steps in a life void of wisdom could be depression, substance abuse, poverty, homelessness, arrest, and even imprisonment. So I put a challenge out there to the woke left nincompoops. Try wisdom as an alternative to what they're teaching in the mainstream. Our show aims to try and give our serious and consistent viewers an advantage in life over their peers by teaching you ancient but eternal wisdom from the original and best sources. We start our study from about 3,000 years ago until about a century ago. Our show is for those who would rather be wise than woke. So to help us lose some woke and get some wise, we have a very special guest today, Dr. Chavi Goldberg of CyberSem. So I'll read a brief bio on Dr. Chavi, and then she'll go in and guide us where we're going. Dr. Chavi Goldberg has always been passionate about sharing her love for learning and empowering women to excel in their own journeys. She holds a Bachelor of Jewish Education and honors from Telpiot College and a Master of Science in Graduate Tech Teaching and Curriculum Development from Nova Southeastern University. Dr. Goldberg completed her doctorate in education in instructional technology and distance education at Nova Southeastern University. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this will be our best show of the half a dozen we've just started with. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chavi Goldberg.
Thank you, Bruce, very much. It really is an honor and a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. I hope that during the course of the time that we will be interacting together, and I really do welcome questions. I really do welcome interaction in any way that you'd like to share it. You have a phone number. The source of wisdom, really, Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon, he prayed. God asked him, "What would you like? What blessing can I give you?" And he could have asked for wealth. He could have asked for all kinds of stuff. And he asked for a special aptitude for wisdom. And so when we are on this show, and as we are all going through different aspects of the book of Proverbs, we are really getting, I would say, a godly knowledge of what the master of the universe sees as wisdom and where our focus should be in wisdom. So today I decided to, I guess that was my prerogative when I was choosing a topic. So in CyberSem, we have many courses. And my goal is to make Judaica courses available for women truly of all ages. And one of the first courses that I developed, not that I do it myself, I'm just the visionary. I dream up ideas and I get other people to write them for me. At this stage, my organization is still what's needed in order for CyberSem to get off the ground. So I have a very dear friend. Her name is Chava Preil. She lives in Israel, and she wrote this course on Mishlei. She's already written Mishlei as Proverbs. The other one that she's done already is Pirkei Avos, is the ethics of the fathers. And now she's just finishing Koheles, and Koheles is in English, I don't know.
Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes.
I
now, do you know
both.
what Ecclesiastes is?
No.
So we can all say Koheles, so that is what it is in the holy writings. We Jewish or not Jewish, we could all use the correct word because I think Ecclesiastes just doesn't mean anything.
I'll give you an example. I was reading it, and the English referred to a diadem, and I had to look up what a diadem, if I pronounce it means a crown. But I didn't know what the Greek, I had no idea what that was.
Okay, so in this show, at least while I'm on here, I may use a Hebrew word. I will translate it a couple of times, and then we'll go back, hopefully, to be able to using the Hebrew word. It'll become part of your vernacular. I have taught many people with Hebrew words to be able to use them in context correctly. So here we are going on today. So today's topic that I thought would be effective and would be proper both for the topic of wisdom as well as for the time of the year that we are in currently. So tomorrow is Shabbos, is the Sabbath, and we are going to, the Jewish people, as we do, are going to bless the new month. Oh, thank you. We are going to bless the new month. So next Monday, this coming Monday, is going to be the first day of the Hebrew month of Elul. There's a little bit of a difference between the lunar calendar that the Jewish calendar is based on and the solar calendar of the year, but that's a different topic. Just to give you a little bit of a background, and we could discuss that someday too if you wanted. Actually, this year is going to be a leap year, so Bruce would be prudent to include some kind of a talk on the differences in the solar and the lunar calendar, and there's lots of people who can talk about it.
Yeah, I know several people who can.
Yeah. So this week we are blessing the new moon of the last month of the Jewish calendar, which is the month of Elul. It's a name, it's a word, we can all pronounce it.
Yeah, so Doctor, when you talk about aluminum calendar or the new, you're going to bless the new month. Tom's Radio is listened by different people. It's a multiculturalism radio. Can you explain to us what do you mean by new month? Is it a tradition that every month you bless the new month, or?
Great question. I'd be happy to answer that. So yes, the Shabbos, the Sabbath, before the first of each new month, we bless the new month. There's a certain prayer that's added to the Shabbos, to the Sabbath prayers of the morning, and we bless the new month. So the month that we're going to be that we're starting has 2 days, and that's another topic. I'd love to answer it, but it really, I can go over it generally. In the Jewish calendar, we have a leap month, not like the solar calendar, but the lunar calendar actually is shy. I'm not going to say it exactly, but approximately 10 days a year, between a week and 10 days a year. So you have, for example, if we wouldn't be having a leap month, then the year would keep moving backwards, but between a week and 10 days every year. And you have the Muslims, the Muslims, for example, their calendar is also a lunar calendar, but for example, their month of Ramadan is never at the same time each year. But the Jewish calendar, the reason that we need to add that extra month is because Pesach needs to be in the spring.
We have built into the system an automatic course correction to make the lunar jive with the solar year. There's another thing to know about months. It's all on the moon waxing and waning.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
It's good people to learn that, because it's not everybody understands. I always hear the celebrations, but I've never know the details of it.
So Bruce touched on a point, and he said that there is a built-in system so that we know when the leap years are. And again, our leap year adds a whole month. And I know this detail, you'll think it's a bit strange, but it happens 7 times in 19 years. Out of a 19-year cycle, it's going to happen 7 times. And I'm going to tell you which years they are, except that I don't know which year we are in now in our cycle. But so when does it start? That I don't know. But it's year 3, 6, 9, 11, 14, 17, and 19th year. Okay? 3, 6, 9, 11, 14, 17, and 19. Those years are all leap years, and we add in an extra month. And the month that we add is going to be way into the middle of the winter. It's the month of Adar. And again, that's its name. So Adar, we have 2 Adars. Usually on a regular year, we have 1. And that pushes ahead Passover, so it will be in the spring. It will always fall out after March the 21st, synced with the solar calendar. And that is why it happens, and that's why when it happens. Okay?
Yeah, I get it. However, I know it's it really needs for me to go back and read. I'm very sure our viewers also will be interested to get the details on their own. So let us continue with
Yeah, I think it's interesting. So
Yeah, it's
we're
very
going back
interesting.
so next week, we'll start the Hebrew month of Elul. Again, it's the name of the month. I haven't got a translation. So the month of Elul is the last month of the Jewish year. Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the new year, literally the head of the new year, is going to be in 29 days from Tuesday.
Tomorrow, yeah.
What?
You go on.
Yeah. So it's 29 days from Tuesday. So we're getting up to Rosh Hashanah. The head of the new year, it's the head of the new year. Now, when Rosh Hashanah, I'm going to use the term of it because it is the head of the new year. It's got a name. It's the day of the holiday. So on Rosh Hashanah, we start the process of repentance and getting in, and starting a new year on a new footing. We are repenting, we are showing remorse, we're asking our friends for forgiveness if there was any area where we inconvenienced them, if we weren't kind, if we invaded on someone's nerves, even if we didn't want to, even if we didn't intend to. Sometimes we just overgo our limits and we could say the wrong thing. So it's a time when we want to make good between friends, and we also want to strengthen our relationship with the master of the world, with the one above. And so thinking about the topic for today's talk, getting back to where we started from, so I decided that we would talk today about the power of speech. In the book of Mishle, one of the topics, and I'll say this a little bit of a detour for Cybersem being an online portal of courses, we tried to deal with not just one sentence after the other as you have in all the texts, but we tried to do things thematically. And so this course on Mishle that we have, it is done thematically, and then the module that I chose was on the power of speech. So when we're in the time of thinking, how is my speech, what I say, impacting someone else? Am I bringing them goodness? Am I bringing them not goodness? Am I infringing on their sensitivities? Then I hope that through the course of today, we will be able to embark on a little bit of study and a few points that will make an impact on all the readers, on all our listeners, Jewish or not Jewish, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a universal theme.
No, when you talk about the power of speech, I really I'm laughing because I was trying to speak something to someone right now, and when I get off something, I always don't choose what to say. So I know a lot of people have that. So I think today's topic is the best topic for most of us.
So
Let's jump in.
Yeah.
Let's jump in. So I'm going to start with a story, as many people start off with stories, but this is a story that's been told in the Medrash, in homiletic writings, but it's a very beautiful story. It's even been made into a kid's storybook. And here it goes. There was once a king who was very sick. A lot of these stories also start off with kings, but nonetheless. And the king was very sick, and there were many doctors that came to him. Being the king, any doctor in the world would come to him. It was many years ago, so the world wasn't quite as large as we know it is today. And so the doctors came to him, and they really didn't see any source of cure. No one had any ideas of how to cure this king. So what happened? Along came a hunter, and he said, "Excuse me, doctor, I would really like to try and cure the king. I know that the cure for the king's ail is milk from a lioness. And here you're going to enjoy the nuances of the language. And we're going to go even out of Hebrew and move into Aramaic. So there are two words in Aramaic and that have been brought into modern Hebrew in addition that mean lioness. So the word is levia. A levi is a lion. A levia is a lioness. And the other term that's Aramaic is called a kalbasa. Okay? Two words. Let's just hold on to them. So he needed milk from this lioness, and right now we'll use the English. But how in the world was a hunter, anybody, supposed to be able to approach a lioness and say, "Please give me some milk"? So he said that
Especially if they only speak Aramaic.
Okay. So what he did is he asked the king, I can save you, I can cure you, but please, I need 10 goats. So that was a small price for a king to pay. It wasn't diamonds, it wasn't jewels, it was a small price. So he gave the hunter 10 goats, and off the hunter went into the forest. He finally found this levia, this lioness. He found the cave where they were. And basically what he did is he sent the first goat to the lioness on the first day. The second day, he got a little bit closer, and he sent off the second one. And so we see the strategy that he used in becoming the lioness's friend. So he kept moving closer, and by the time the end of the 10 days came along, he was really able to pat this lioness. And really, the lioness trusted him. The lioness didn't give an animal won't give its milk because it's afraid of the person that's taking it from it, and it's afraid that it's not reliable. And so the guy came close and he said, and he had his little flask that he wanted milk. Somehow he knew how to communicate with this lioness, and the lioness gave him milk. Wonderful. He had no goats to take back. The lioness ate all the goats anyway, and off he is back to the king, to the palace, to cure the king. So when he came back, he said to while he was on his way back, he sort of fell asleep on one of the rocks. And it said, and he while he was sleeping, he dreamt a dream. And the dream was that all the parts of his body were arguing as to which is the most important part of the body. The arms said one thing, and the feet said, "You can't get anywhere without me." And each part of the body had its own complaint, had its own argument of why it is the most important part of the body. And then came along the tongue. And the tongue said, "No, it's me. Because if you say the wrong thing, then it says in our pasuk, in our sentence, our phrase in the Mishlei, it says Chaim umavis biyad halashon. It says mavis v'chaim biyad halashon. Death and life are in the hands of the tongue. Some places it might be translated as speech, but it's literally the tongue. A tongue in modern Hebrew is a lashon. So death and life are in the hands of the tongue. Now, so the body parts are having their argument. The hunter gets up and he goes back to the king. So remember that there are two terms for the word lioness: a levia and a kalbasa. Good? Lioness. Now, he went back to the king and he told the doctors, "I have the milk from a kalbasa." Now, in the language of that place where they lived, another terminology, another use, again, a little bit of a thing on the words.
A trick.
A kelev in modern Hebrew is a dog. And so the people there, because they spoke the Aramaic language, when he said kalbasa, "I brought you, doctor, the milk of a kalbasa," and he told that to the king, well, they didn't understand that a kalbasa is a lioness. To them, a kalbasa is a dog. And the king got mad. He said, "I gave you goats. You misled me. You told me that you were going to get me milk from a lioness so that I'd become healthy again." And he says, "Sentenced to death. Take him away to the prison, and he's going to be hung whenever." So the guy was really upset. He was really obviously very scared. He went downstairs. He was taken into the dungeon, and again he fell asleep, and the parts of the body again had a fight. Now this time the tongue said, "Look, I know what the issue is. Only when the tongue is directed by the mind does the tongue say smart things. For a tongue just to babble on and on and on is not logical and does not produce goodness. But when the tongue is directed by the brain, which we're going to see a little bit later, I hope I'll get that far. But when the tongue is directed by the brain, then it says smart things. And the tongue says, if you will see that I can get the hunter out of his predicament, will you all agree that the tongue is the most important part of the body? So they all agreed yes. So when the executioner came downstairs to take the hunter, he said, you know, I think I understand what the misunderstanding is between me and the doctors, or me and the king. He said, where I come from, the word kalbasa also means a lioness. It's also a lioness. So in my language, we have two terms for a lioness, a levia and a kalbasa. Maybe in the language of the king, if you tell him that I brought him milk from a levia, then he'll understand and he will be happy. He'll let me go and he'll try the milk that I brought. And so it happened, and the king got better, and the hunter was freed, and he was given all these accolades that he saved the king's life. But we see, as it says in this piece in the Mishlei, that maves v'chaim, literally the life or the death of the hunter, was in the hands of what he said. Any questions? Anything?
Let's take questions. Let's have a break now.
going
Come
for
back
break.
and jump right into questions and then
Okay.
continue. So we'll see you in a minute.
Our company is committed to providing truthful, honest, competent, and result-oriented service through advising and representing our clients in Canada and overseas in a wide range of immigration matters. We focus on providing support, building dependable relationships, and promoting success. We are dedicated to understanding what results you want and to helping you understand what actions we can take on your behalf.
We are back to the Wisdom Show, ladies and gentlemen, with Dr. Javi Goldberg as our special guest presenter, and we've just concluded a story that's based on a couple of lines in the Book of Proverbs. And if there's any questions from our wonderful studio audience, Dr. Josie Slaw here.
I think I like first the story. So, because you were talking the power of the tongue and the power of the speech and what we give out. So you spoke of how the hunter remembered that the carnivorous and herbivorous, I can't remember those words, the lioness
Yes.
had two language.
Two terms that mean lioness, yes.
So the hunter is the one who remembered that he had two terms, which means the same thing. So when you try to talk about that, doctor, how can you relate that with our life? How can you relate that story with our life?
Oh, sure. You know what? If
The
we
Musar
would...
Huskill.
What?
The Musar Huskill. You want to bring it down to
Of
how
course.
to change us.
But I want to tell you that if we were in a classroom and it wasn't just me talking on this program, I would ask you that question.
Okay.
My goal as a teacher is to share with you something and promote you and encourage you to dig into yourself and say, how is this applying to me? This is what I do in CyberSam.
Okay.
I want you to transform. I want you to transfer the knowledge that I give you into your life. We are standing at a new year, at the precipice of a new year. How are we taking this message? Or when we see the tremendous importance and the tremendous impact is a better word of the idea of our speech, then, that's something to think about. Where is your head going with that?
Yeah, for sure. When first of all, if I relate with the new month, there's the issue of forgiveness there. There's issue of expression there. How do you express yourself? But also there's an issue of trying to help. But it's true, sometimes we don't have the means. We don't know how to express ourselves to offer that help. The way I said, when I talk about multiculturalism with the topic for today, we have different ways to express things in our own languages and feelings. And sometimes people use certain words without knowing that they are hurting other people. I agree that way. But if you talk to me today, I will tell you, doctor, sometimes I have to be strong with my words to sound clear because this culture is that's how it is. If I use my own way of speaking, people see me as a weak person.
You have opened up a tremendous topic that really isn't related. But I am going to weigh in on this based on the research that we have from this course. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to get to there. And
Okay.
I'm going to mention it. I'm going to mention it now without the exact verse in the Mishle, in the Proverbs. But I'm going to tell you that the way a person speaks reflects on their intelligence and really impacts the outcome of their conversation. And it says that if you speak gently, the word in Hebrew is rach, is softly, bending. That makes the other person who you're speaking to, you will de-escalate anger.
You're talking about tone.
Yes, you are talking about tone, but when you talk about something, when you speak, you do have a tone of your voice. And so what we were saying before is that if I speak gently, will people think that I'm weak? And I want to tell you, I think that succinctly asks your question. And I think that if you speak gently and kindly and don't give in to someone who is speaking to you gruff or mean, you will be equally as effective. And you won't I don't know that we send a message that you can't mess with me because I speak louder than you or I speak tougher than you. But if I speak with intelligence and a soft voice, then eventually I will be heard. If someone can push us to over the cliff with anger because of their perceived toughness, then we aren't really doing ourselves any honor. We're not validating ourselves. The way we can come across effective is not by outscreaming the other guy, but is by using what we say and how we say it to demonstrate intelligence and to demonstrate what we have to tell someone.
But don't you think, Doctor, there are people who are speaking gently, using soft words, but within that gentleness, they put words which can affect you without you understanding. I met some people, the way they talk is so gently, but their intention is very evil to you.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, I'm going to try and just gear
Yes.
the conversation back to
What-
me or you or how we are going to speak. Whether the topic of about how someone else is speaking to me, we're going to leave because that's their responsibility.
Yes.
But I own myself. I'm accountable for what I do. I'm not accountable for someone else. So that when someone is speaking to me gruff, and I think that the only way to answer them back is with a louder voice, a tougher voice, more firmness, I want to encourage you that you want to hold on to your own integrity and not allow their toughness to impact how you answer them. We need to, each person, because we're accountable for our own actions, we need to hold on to that integrity and respond even to someone who's tough with our own method of response and own it and make it your default. I call that making your default reaction. I want my default to be, no matter how someone speaks to me, to be who I am in my essence. I work hard on it. I think it's a huge point.
I'm wondering, respectfully, if that's bad advice.
No, it's not bad
no,
advice.
because if someone's showing anger to me, I want to show anger back to him, so he'll see the mirror, and I won't be a pushover, and it makes sense to me to respond in kind.
You don't have to respond in kind. I want to tell you, I don't know if I can prove it to you, but I can tell you that from my life's experience, that I work very hard at maintaining my own dignity and my own integrity when I speak to someone. So even if someone is being mean to me, I don't have to lose it. If they want to yell at me, and if they want to dismiss whatever I have to say, that's their business. It has nothing to do with me.
Yes.
I don't, and I'm not a pushover. I'm not a pushover because
We're talking about a defense.
you don't have to defend.
Yeah, I agree
Why
with
do you
you,
say you don't have
doctor.
to
So,
defend?
You don't have to defend.
doctor, you remember?
example.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, doctor. No, I have a question.
Give me an example.
Yeah,
Bruce.
I was giving you an example. Okay,
Okay.
What was
I'm
the
an
example?
immigrant in this country.
You what?
I'm an immigrant in this country,
Okay.
and most people believe that I'm not that competent or I don't know things simply because I'm an immigrant. And second, English is not my first language. So there are people who are using those kind of factors which have been built within the system to speak to you in a gentle way, but pushing you down or pulling you down or avoiding you to do something or taking your advantage of you.
Josie, anybody can do it to anybody for any reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's society that's doing it. It doesn't matter if you're an immigrant. It doesn't matter if you were born here. If a person is a person who likes to put people down, they are going to find any excuse they can. Okay, so I was born in Canada. That's just the way it happened. I was born in Toronto, but not everybody likes me. Not everybody thinks that what I do is the right way to do it. I lead my life in a certain way. I don't hurt anybody because of the way that I lead my life. There many, many years ago, and I think Bruce will remember this because he's a little bit involved in the politics, when we were trying to get government funding for the Jewish day schools. We worked hard, and there was a lot of activity. It's been a little bit quieter lately, at least in the front in the public life. We don't see it so much. But in those years, we did, and we used to have to go down to City Hall, and we used to have to go down to courts just to show our support. But why am I telling you this story? Because when they were arguing to us, because I couldn't figure out why they were so angry at these Jewish kids. Why they would fund one group and not fund the other. These kids are in school systems. They are going to grow up to be moral, honest citizens. They are going to speak nicely. They are going to make a living. Your economy is going to thrive. They are going to be family people. There are going to be more people in the country. And so what was their complaint? Where was their complaint on our schools? Some people are just out to complain. Does that have to bring me down? Like, the reason could be anything. I don't know what their complaint is on the Jewish schools. I could never figure it out.
I got it.
You got it?
Yes.
But anybody can be angry at anything. That doesn't have to impact my reaction. Reaction. The word responsible is made up of two words: response, able. My only responsibility is on my own response. I am responsible for my response. I am not responsible for someone else's response.
I really
And I
get you
really
there.
hope you take that, because there's no reason that you or me or anybody should feel bad because of who they are for whatever reason. There's no reason why anybody should have to feel bad. I am a law-abiding citizen. I bring goodness to people, and interact with me the way I am, on my terms. When I keep my mouth quiet and I watch my tongue and I guard the way I speak, I am bringing goodness to the world, and I'm bringing goodness ultimately to our interaction between you and me. I'm not letting your moods and your expectations to affect how I respond. And I think that's so major. There's nothing that you can do or say. I'm sorry, it sounds a little dogmatic, but I've worked so hard on this concept. You can see that the words flow
No,
freely.
I really
You're not
understand.
gonna Bruce isn't going to convince me to do otherwise.
No. You spoke something something at the beginning. You spoke that when the tongue is connected with the mind. I've been digesting that statement, when the tongue is connected with the mind. Can you give me a connection, the tongue, mind, and wisdom,
Okay, so
and the outcome of what I'm going to say?
You want to pick this up after the break? Oh, and it sounds like a good time for a break. Ladies and gentlemen, let's pick up that question that's based on Proverbs 18:20. Let's pick it up on the other side of the break.
Our company is committed to providing truthful, honest, competent, and result-oriented service through advising and representing our clients in Canada and overseas in a wide range of immigration matters. We focus on providing support, building dependable relationships, and promoting success. We are dedicated to understanding what results you want and to helping you understand what actions we can take on your behalf.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back to a angry, heated, mercilessly fierce discussion, and I'm not going to take it anymore. We're looking at verse. We're looking at.
No, for me, I like it, Bruce. I
You
really
like
like
it?
it because sometimes I'm so quiet, I'm so quiet, and when you push me to talk, don't expect me to talk good stuff. So this is my problem. I always don't want to talk. And doctor, this is what I'm telling you, I'm learning that I need to control who I am. Controlling who I am, I'm always quiet. And this is why I will ask you a question that, how can I connect it? My mind, tongue, and wisdom. Because sometimes I apply wisdom by being quiet. But if you push me to the beyond the limit, that's when you can hear my voice.
I want to encourage you, Josie, not to contain yourself when you want to share who you are. It's your wisdom and who you are, that's what you want to share with the world. That's what you want to share in a gentle way. And even without the text of the Proverbs, that's what I would answer you. You don't want to be pushed, because then when you're pushed, it doesn't come from within you. It doesn't come from a place of wisdom. It comes from a place of an emotion where you're being pushed to say something. But if you think about what you really want to share with that person, and you have wisdom to share, your feelings, your depth, as much as you want to reveal, but if you're going to go that route, then you won't feel that you have to explode at someone. Then the point of speech will come from your wisdom, and you'll share who you are in your depth of your personality. And one of the words that it uses in the text of the Proverbs, it says that it impacts your soul. And it's going to be your soul that's going to speak. And you're going to feel that beauty. You're going to feel that oneness with yourself, the authenticity of who you are. And that it's from that place of wisdom that you should speak, not from the place of being pushed. And I think that anybody will stop in their tracks and listen to what you say because you've spoken from that place of authenticity.
Wow, thank you, Doctor. No, for
I hope that answers what you said.
no,
because
it's as a student, I'm really learning a lot because it's something also I experience it every time. For me, I thought when I want to express my feeling, if something happened, I always step back, keep quiet, and listen. But if you push me to talk, the way you say that is true. When I talk from somewhere else. So I agree with that. I think that I've picked that.
the wisdom that you absorb when you're quiet is a good thing. And then you're going to formulate your answer based on your wisdom, and you'll speak when you're ready to speak, not when someone else pushes you to the wall. You'll speak because you've thought about the question. You've processed what other people have said, and you'll either agree or disagree, but you'll do it with confidence, you'll do it with gentleness, and you'll do it with a presence that will command respect because it's authentic, not because it comes from a place of energy and anger.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Yeah, this is very, very good. So, viewers, I think you have had, I've really picked this subject and I got the answers today, and I hope I'm going to change. I think, Bruce, the purpose of the Wisdom Show also is to create change in the community. When people listening to this,
individuals and the is a ripple effect.
Okay, so thank you.
Yeah.
Individual also, this has been good, Doctor. So maybe we can continue. I really want to hear more.
Okay. So,
How else would you like to change us?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not set out to change you. I just share ideas. I'm sharing from what the Proverbs say to us, and I hope you will take the words and you'll apply them to yourselves. And whenever you want to adjust, and these adjustments come slowly, you'll find yourself in a conversation, Josie, with someone, and you'll say, I'm going to do it differently. I'm pulled to answer the same way like I always did.
Believe me, Doctor, I'm going to be different from this moment.
But just don't be pressuring on yourself.
No.
Be gentle on yourself.
You taught me, you said something there. You said that you have to be accountable, and I have to also listen to myself. So, and you told me that I should, the wisdom during the time of silence, I should use that time to digest what has been discussing. So I'm picking a lot of stuff you're talking.
Yes. It's all great. It's all great. We're coming a little bit, I see the time is moving on, and I'd like to tell you another story. To use the power of the tongue to do goodness, to bring goodness, and can change and can literally, again, save a person's life. There was once a rabbi who was the supervisor in a food plant. And so in order for food that's manufactured to be kosher, it has to abide by the manufacturers have to abide by certain rules. And every so often a rabbi comes in to check the processing and the machinery and the ingredients that they put in. And this might have been a more complex manufacturing process, because this rabbi came every day. Okay, maybe it had meat in it. There are things that require a more constant observation by the rabbi or supervision. And so in order to ensure this food is kosher. And this was such a large manufacturing plant that there was a guard at the outside. And the rabbi was very careful that every time he went in, he would greet the guard very affectionately and warmly. He would say, "Good morning, how are you?" He wished him a good day, and he really made the guard really felt the sincerity of the rabbi who was coming in to do his job in the manufacturing plant. And at the end of the day, the rabbi did the same thing. He greeted the guard, he acknowledged him, they shook heads at each other, and he asked him how his day was. He wished him a good evening. But there was always a lock of a conversation, of an empathy of one to the other in this conversation. Anyway, one day it happened that the rabbi came in the morning, and everybody had left. At the end of the day, everyone had left the plant, except for the rabbi. And the guard obviously noticed it because they had a personal interaction.
They had a rapport.
A rapport, thank you. Each and every time the rabbi would pass by the guard in the beginning of the day and in the end of the day. And so the guard was really worried. They were really close friends. And so the guard said, I am not closing up until the rabbi is accounted for. He even got on the phone with his boss, to the owner of the plant, and he said, the rabbi has not come out yet. I cannot lock up. And the guy said, well, maybe you missed him. He said, no, the rabbi acknowledges me every single time he comes and he leaves. It's not possible that he left without acknowledging me. So the owner was convinced, and what he did is he sent in a search party, a bunch of people who searched the plant upstairs and downstairs in the elevators. They couldn't find him, and that guard insisted the rabbi is there somewhere. I'm going to tell you, he was found in the freezer. They had in these food manufacturers have huge walk-in fridges and freezers, and they found the rabbi walking around in the freezer to generate heat for himself so he'd stay alive. And so we can see from this story, and they took him out and they nursed him back to health, and it was all good. But the relationship, the goodness that was shared from his mouth to the guard literally saved his life in the end. And so the goodness that we share, the interactions that we have with people should be always to bring goodness. And the connections that we have with people are there to enhance life. And here not only enhance our interactions, but really save the life of the rabbi at the end. But his words were warm and sincere. And the guard really felt that sincerity. And missing him, he just knew that there was something wrong.
Wow. That's a very good story, Doctor. That means you are teaching me something, that even greeting.
It leaves me cold.
Only a greeting can create change or can save you from any problem, the way you say. Because the rabbi was only greetings and saying thank you and good night. Those are very simple words where
Beautiful.
A lot of people miss them. There are some people, they don't see they will need to say hi.
And we live in Canada. And Canadians are better than anywhere in the world. You say thank you to someone and you're traveling, say, I shouldn't say it, to the States, and they'll say you're a Canadian.
Wow. Yeah, no, I agree with you, because even here, I have neighbors whereby I can differentiate stuff. I have people whereby if I don't see them, I'm going to call them and ask, because it's not the way they are.
Right.
But I have neighbors who are tenants with me. Sometimes I even don't know if they exist, because those are the people who even don't say hi to each other. Even if you say hi, someone does not reply to you. So you feel the sense of not caring, of having a need to know if this person is present or not. So it's a very good topic, or very good lesson to most of us, that simple words, which are always ignored, they are very, very important in life and can make changes.
I'm trying to put a title to it: warm words and cold freezer. Put it together.
No, I mean, it's really true, because sometimes, like the way you say, Doctor, we are in Canada here. I know people can push, but then it's true. Some people need very simple appreciation to make their life better.
It's true. It's true. It makes the difference between someone being acknowledged and someone not being acknowledged. The person who is acknowledged feels someone cares about me. I'm not alone. If we look at the loneliness piece, the number of people that are simply lonely, just by sharing and caring, can make a huge impact on a person's quality of life.
You're right.
It's simple.
You're very right.
Especially these days during the COVID lockdown.
I met a lady. She's a senior lady. So this lady, before, she ignored herself. She said, I'm not loved. Maybe I've never had a man to love me. So she came to my clinic and I said, no, ma'am, you're very beautiful. I said, you are so beautiful. So every day she comes, I complimented her. How beautiful her face is, how beautiful she looks, how beautiful she walks. I can see changes in her simply by having that word, because I noticed throughout her discussions, no one told her, I love you. So when she comes to my clinic these days, that is the first thing and the last word I tell her.
You're just like the rabbi in the story.
And she comes every time. Every time she comes, I realize that maybe now she only wants to hear that word, because she will come and show me the dress. I say, wow,
Yeah.
you look great, amazing. I really love you, Mama. You see? And it has changed her
Does
life.
she dress differently? Does she carry herself
She started to dress differently. She started I gave her makeup kit. I said, you know what, you do this, and she can, you know what, I feel I'm so light now. I feel I'm beautiful now. You see I said, Mama, you're so beautiful. You know why people did not say they love you? You were so busy working. Nobody saw you because you were always working 3 jobs. So I tried to change her mind, but then I'm now doing this compliment to her, and I could see her healthy has completely changed.
That's
So-
beautiful.
I really understand you that there are people, the good words we give can change life.
Yes.
It's true, because I've seen with these few people I'm living with, just to tell them, I love you, Mama, you are so beautiful. It has changed her life.
It does. It does. And we can see that all of the lessons that we take from the text, we can sit and learn the text and then take the stories and take the lessons, say, how do I apply it to myself? This is all meant to talk to me. Although, and Bruce said that in the introduction, that he wants to make part of the meaning, the reason for this program is to make the biblical texts real for people and impactful in their lives. One of the CyberStem courses is about women in the Bible, not in the 5 books of Moses piece, but in the prophets and in the writings. And the goal of the exercises of that is to transfer the experiences of these women. We take 10 women. Some of them most people have not ever heard of, but they are nonetheless impactful women anyway. And women have faced issues, have faced women's things throughout the ages. It doesn't matter if we're in Toronto, or if we're in Poland, or if we're in Morocco, or if we're in Jamaica. It doesn't make a difference where we are. Women are essentially a species in and of themselves. And really, men and women are not, this is another different topic, but men and women are not the same thing, but a boy version and a girl version. Men are different, they were created differently, and women are differently, and they were created differently. And because women are created exactly who they are, that we all do have our things, and time, history doesn't change the fact that we're all women going through women's issues and women coping with the issues that they have to do with. So if we can learn from the people whose lives were included in the Bible, it's because their lessons are lessons forever.
But then, Doctor, for those people who don't read the Bible, how do we reach them to change?
Oh boy,
I think what that's what the purpose of this program is.
I have a number of people,
Yeah.
they just call themselves Christians, they call themselves, but they have never touched the Bible.
Yeah.
So we need to be doing that. This is a program that Bruce has created here. And so by taking the ideas of Proverbs, he's chosen Proverbs, which is a great place to start. You're going through this book from the inside and seeing that the lessons are valuable, although it was written by King Solomon many, many years ago. Nonetheless, we see the importance and the impact that they have on our lives. They're relevant then, today, as they were then. And similarly, the characters, the people, the personalities that are in the entire Bible, although they wore different clothes than we did, and they maybe spoke a different language than we did, but their struggles as human beings were the same. And we can learn from them as people, and we don't have to, we can discount that they wore different clothes or different head coverings or different shoes. But them as human beings have what to teach us. And if we can take away another lesson from my time with you here today, I hope it would be that, to encourage you to pursue Bible studies that will enhance your life through understanding the decisions that our forefathers and foremothers made in their day, because they truly are forever. The word in Hebrew is nitzchi, is forever.
Doctor, I'm going to ask you a question that, with this modern life, people call themselves modern. So everything is virtual, internet, and everything. So when you tell me to be like our forefathers, to speak like our forefathers,
I'm going to interrupt you. Please excuse me, Josie. I'm not asking you to speak like them. You don't have to speak their language. You don't have to dress like them. But if you do your reading and you do your introspection into how they made their decisions, what were their thought processes? What were their struggles? What were their struggles that they got out of? How did they get out of their struggles? How did they deal with their issues? Because our issues are the same.
Yeah, like me, I have my girls who are teenagers right now. So I'm trying to teach them, to tell them their ways, and they say, Mom, you're outdated.
It's okay. You told your mother the same thing. But they will see that you're not outdated. That generation piece is all the time. You told that to your mother too, didn't you? Do you remember that?
I don't, I grew up I was lucky. I grew up in a religious environment. So I was taught the Bible when I was too young. So when I go back home, I was behaving very differently. And my mom was asking me, what's your problem? I said, Mom, I don't have a problem. This is because my mom was not religious, and my dad was not. I'm the one who taught them to read the Bible. Mm-hmm. So when I go back home, I had to take time and read the Bible with them, and my dad could say, don't waste my time. So I lock myself in the room and I do my readings. But eventually I was very happy. Before he died, he read the Bible and he changed the ways he was living. So, with this generation, which is listening to us, I found out, Doctor, it's very hard because they learn everything in the internet.
There's lots of goodness in the internet. Mm-hmm. There is lots what to read in the internet. There are good things and there are bad things, like the tongue. It can say the tongue, or the internet's tongue can say goodness, or can say
bad,
craziness and silliness and wrong and evil. It can, like the people who are on it. So it's like that everywhere. It's like that everything. But if you maintain your identity and your firmness in universal principles of discipline, of being able to set borders, your kids may not like that. But I'll tell you, because I have children that are a little past the teenage stage, so we can converse. I can tell you that this stage will pass. But
Thank
if
you.
give them, I knew that's what you needed to hear.
Yeah, I really needed to hear that.
Your teenage girls are the worst.
I really needed to. No, I just adapted to be.
They're going to go to great places. They're going to accomplish tons of things because she's going to teach them the value of knowledge, the value of them maintaining their integrity, of being able to set borders on themselves, because if you set borders for them, you're teaching them to be able to not get into trouble with other people because they will be able to say no. You may want to say yes to your child, but everybody needs that sense of borders, and you get that from ageless knowledge. timeless knowledge. And that's something that passes from generation to generation. They get their knowledge from a different place, but the messages remain the same throughout history.
I think we've covered a lot of ground. Now I want to try something with you. I'm going to surprise you with a script. Okay? You're in the bold yellow. So, Dr. Goldberg, have you learned something wise today?
Most certainly, yes.
Do you think we made humanity better today?
For sure.
Did you have fun in our secret scroll-laden wisdom cave?
It was amazing.
Will you join us again one day soon?
Oh dear. Do I have to read what's written here?
I like that.
All being well, I'll come again. It says here, oh, probably not, but I'll come again.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for viewing the Wisdom Show. Please subscribe. Please share. Please call me to volunteer to be a guest presenter. Our budget is low, but we will take you on. Thank you, Dr. Goldberg, and please, folks, take a look at cybersem.com, and if that's the right I'm confident you could do well by going to the website and seeing what's going on. And just the issue of someone founded University of Toronto, someone founded Harvard, and so on. So our guest founded a university. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good week.
Thank you very